40 million Americans have clinical anxiety, while 18 million Americans have depression. I think I was looking into the aspects of this, and especially my life, to try and identify what was causing my reaction, what was causing my anxiety. Because when you get anxious and you try and identify, you're trying to identify what in your life is making you anxious. Anxiety is simply you living in the future state, worrying about something that has not actually happened. It's a moment you can suddenly see that those distorted thoughts aren't true. You can change them. In fact, understanding what anxiety is at the foundational level, I think is going to be really helpful to you about understanding all of anxiety. And simply, it's literally nothing more than this. You simply living in your future state, worrying about something that has not actually happened. What you're doing is what some people call rehearsal failure. Okay, so I got 2 steps. Step 1, don't compare yourself to someone, especially if it makes you feel worse about yourself. If it inspires you, great, do it. But it makes you feel less than, don't do it. For example, so you're looking at somebody else and you're seeing how amazing they are, and you compare yourself to them and you imagine your future, and you're saying, I'm never going to be able to live like that. I'm never going to be able to accomplish the success that they have accomplished. What if you flipped the script and said, oh, look at what they've done. That's so incredible. I am super inspired, and I'm going to get that good. I may not be that good yet, but I'm going to get that good. Now, one of those rehearsals or talks creates anxiety, depression, sadness, thoughts of being stuck, that I'm never going to be good. The other one reduces anxiety, and it actually puts you in an action-oriented state. For me, action cures all. So for me to take action, I tell myself, we can take action, we're gonna figure this out, we can do this. The old me would be like, I would shut down trying to figure out the perfect path, the perfect step to accomplish this goal. I would get mired down in research and finding the perfect path, and I would never start the actual work because I didn't have the self-confidence that I could figure things out along the way. Something I learned later. So now when I see something that's killing it, someone that's killing it in a positive way, that they're doing what they say, I tell myself, I can do that. If they can do it, I can do it. They have set the path. I think back like the man who set the first sub 4-minute mile, Sir Roger Bannister. He did it. If he can do it, I can do it. So today I have rewired my brain to say, if they can do it, I can do it. They are not lucky. They are lucky, but they're not rare. It just sets the example that I can do it. So step number 1 is you need to recognize that you can get good about anything that you want to get good at. It's the nature of human beings. You don't have to believe you're special to do this. You just have to recognize the truth of the human condition. So anything you put your energy and effort into, you will get better and better at anything. Now, you can believe you're special. I'm all good for that. And believe you're gifted. A lot of people are. And that can even help you even more if you feel that way. Anyway, so rehearse over and over in your brain is going to make it mentally locked into your mind that you can achieve that. So when you look at someone else and you say, I'm never going to be able to do that, I'm a loser, I'm a failure, and whatever that thing that you put on repeat, you're catastrophizing yourself, making things horrible for yourself, and you're going to believe it, and you're not going to move forward. That's why I listen to motivational speeches, talks or meditations that spark me into my potential growth, that help me mold my brain to what dreams are possible and what I can achieve, and it helps me move forward, that I do believe I can achieve that. I like the language of cognitive behavioral theory. If you may not be familiar with it. To me, it's the number 1 defense against anxiety. How you stop the cognitive distortions as they are and as they're known, and you can get into a state where you are in the calm state that you're looking for. Now, this is a task we all have to go through. We all get anxious and upset or about certain things getting into them. About difficult things, horrible things, heartbreaking things, the kind of things that we wouldn't even wish on someone else. But the job that we all have is in the face of that we have a constructive narrative about what will move us forward. We can construct that. This is why I am such a firm believer that you should do what moves you toward your goal. It doesn't have to be a perfect path, but what will move you towards your goal. I see people every day that tell stories about themselves that they're worthless, they're meaningless, they're pointless, that their friends and family would be better if they just died. So we need to be careful what we tell ourselves, and we construct a positive narrative about ourselves, one that empowers us and that lifts us up. Now, we're going to make mistakes. That's okay. We're humans. So even when we fall, even when we fail, even when we make mistakes, we still are worthy of success. We're not going to get things right all the time. So many people have failed things. Think of the guy who started KFC, didn't sell his recipe until he was like in his 60s. It's okay to fail. I had an impending sense of doom whenever I did anything goal or task. And I was always afraid that it was going to catch up to me. And that caused my anxiousness, that I was waiting for this impending doom thing to happen. I tried to go back and identify in my life what was making me anxious, and looking at the stories my brain was telling me about failure and not succeeding. So I hired a life coach, and we basically looked at several negative statements I had playing in my head on autopilot. Let's see. So they were like, I'm not worthy of a high-paying job because I flunked out of college and got low grades. I wasn't worthy of great work. Well, a great work environment. That I'd accept the work I had and the job I was in and the terrible boss I had because there's a job shortage, which it depends who you talk about if that's really happening. Then I would say like I would run out of money as I built my business, like I couldn't get any money. Then I thought like debt was a bad thing to get into as I built my business. One time I had gained 50 pounds due to stress eating. I was like, okay, I'm not worthy of love because I'm fat. In other words, my company had layoffs, and that meant I was not a worthy employee because I was one that were laid off because there was a job, shrinkage. So my brain was looking at things as scarcity. Now, the second idea is that when you're depressed and anxious, again, it's not the events of your life that are upsetting you, it's the message you're giving yourself, the way you're interpreting events. And when you're depressed, you're giving yourself messages like, I am not as good as I should be. And there are a lot of people listening right now who are thinking that. Or you may be thinking, I'm shy. Why am I so shy? I was shy growing up. I must be really screwed up because I'm shy. Something must be wrong with me. That's someone that I played over and over again. Depressed people often feel discouraged or hopeless. And then you're telling yourself things like, this will never change. This is my true self. I am really a loser. I'll be this way forever. And it's amazing that people have told themselves these stories for more than 2,000 years. These are not new stories. People have always told them. What's really awesome now is we have a new tool to deal with it. And it's that the thoughts that trigger depression and anxiety are not valid. Thoughts that trigger depression and anxiety are not valid. They are not valid thoughts. This is the world oldest con, is your brain fooling you to believe things that are not true. And when you believe that you can change your thoughts, you can change them that very instant. The way you think about something. When that moment you are changing, you can suddenly see that those distorted thoughts aren't true. And you stop believing them. In that instant, you can change because a lot of people are listening to this. And there are 40 million Americans have clinical anxiety. something like 18 million Americans have depression.